again in my channel, This Black Man. What I want to talk about today is the time and what must be done. You know, it doesn't take a genius to look around and see that the world is in chaos. Wars, Ukraine, Israel, also climate change, flooding, drought, hurricane, a record September in the United States for heat, civil unrest, protests, a dysfunctional House of Representatives. So more important than any other time in my 64 years, you need to prepare for anything that could happen. In fact, if you go and search FEMA survival kit, and you go on the FEMA website, they list 14 basic things that every household should have. And I agree, those 14 things are just the very basics. And, you know, they're more or less designed for 72 hours. For you to go 72 hours without assistance from an agency or from another individual. You know, people, because of technology and advancements, we take a lot of things for granted, you know, that our ancestors didn't take for granted, that our grandparents didn't take for granted, that our great-grandparents didn't take for granted. You have to ask yourself, what would you do if you turned on a light switch and had no power? What would you do if you turned on the water faucet and no water came out? You know, how would you flush your toilets? Sanitation, you know? And I think about the homeless population in this country, which has gotten out of hand. But at a bare minimum, you should be able to provide food, water, shelter, and power at a bare minimum for 72 hours for you and your family. And, you know, on the other side of that, I'm impressed with technology, especially solar technology. You know, I remember in the 80s, these companies was coming around putting solar panels on your house just to run the hot water heater. It wasn't very good. Matter of fact, I had a family member that told him to come get it. But now, with the lithium ion phosphate batteries, the constructions of solar panels, the way they build them now, charge controllers. I mean, you can take the power of the sun and run a refrigerator for days. And it's just amazing. Keep your devices charged up. You know, where would you be without a cell phone? Think about it. People don't even remember numbers no more like they used to, phone numbers. I'm guilty of that too. So look, it's not too late to start, but you want to start before stuff, happens. The ideal condition would be that you could stay off grid, become invisible during a crisis, and survive for years. That's the ideal situation. But start now. Even if you don't do nothing but go to the Dollar Tree every week and spend $10. Well, it's $1.25 now. Spend, $12, $14. You know, that's less than $70 a month. Stock up on canned goods, dry goods, containers, trash bags, aluminum foil, you know, household needs. You know, be careful because when it comes to canned goods, a lot of places you can find them cheaper than $1.25 a can, but start somewhere. Don't throw away those 2-liter bottle containers once you drink all the sugar-laden soda. Wash them out, fill them with water, store them. That big gallon of juice you be buying, don't throw that stuff away. They're useful. That's how we got to be thinking now. You know, especially, you know, as Black people, we take a lot of that stuff for granted. Especially those that's been city dwellers all their life and don't have no experience in hunting, fishing, camping, the outdoors. You know, all that stuff you can find on YouTube. All over the internet, there's groups that teach you those skills. Also, firearms. You know, my mother would never, she was anti-gun. She didn't like a gun in the house, wouldn't allow it. You know, but thankfully I had uncles that knew what must be done. I got my first shotgun at 12 years old from my Uncle Woody. So, you know, a firearm is just a tool, like any other tool, hammer, knife, drill, it's just a tool. And you need to learn how to use a tool to protect yourself, protect your family. Let's start taking this stuff seriously. It's not a joke. You know, you love your family. It's your job to protect them. That's your job as the head of a household, whether you are a man or a woman. You should be able to protect your family and yourself. Start the day. Let's stop procrastinating. Start the day. Right after you see this video, find a spot in your home where you can store stuff. Buy those little totes, the containers. You can buy them at any department store. Start you up something. Get you some rice, right? Some beans, some dry goods, you know, and, you know, rotate it out, eat them, you know. Once you knock off a bag of rice, go buy another bag. But times is changing. I mean, you know, my prediction is bleak. It ain't too good, especially for the United States. Because, you know, people are afraid. They operating off of fear. They fear that their core values don't have the influence over the United States and the world it once had, and they scared. Some of them admit it, but they are scared. And they run around here talking about make America great again. And if you ask them when America was great, a lot of them will say, they'll pick a time period or era where they wasn't even born. What you know? It's downright fear, emotions. And I'm gonna tell you, when you operate off of emotion, you're not in your right mind. Operate off of logic and reasoning, the math. Well, that's just my opinion. My opinion only matters to me when you break it down. But anyway, I appreciate you coming to my channel, listening to the video. I need your help. Like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. My videos do very well everywhere but YouTube and Facebook. But on Instagram and TikTok, I get hundreds of views. So take care from this Black man. Start your survival kit.